What are spirit guides? So spirit guides are actually higher dimensional and multidimensional beings that are assigned to us throughout our life to help us with our whole path and our whole journey, and to help guide us. Their vibration is always a lot higher than ours, so they have got access to a lot of higher knowledge and information and a lot of experience. So the different types of guides are, so the first one is the way shower, and this is the guide that we have with us when we're born. Usually we come in with around 1 to 5 guides, and this is the very first guide that comes in with us, and it is the guide that leads us through the birthing process and through the death process. So it's a very, very important guide, and it's basically just here to be our best friend and to just really hold space for us throughout our life and throughout all of our transitions and our journeys that we go through. It really is just there to hold support and hold space for us. And it is a very important guide. The next guide is the head guide. So the head guide is basically the head of the team. He is the manager of the team. So he is the manager or the boss of the whole team of guides that we hold. He's the coordinator. And then we have timing guides. So timing guides are responsible for setting up synchronicities and coincidences within our lives. They are the ones that set up the different specific times in our lives for meeting the right people, being in the right place at the right time, hearing the right information that we need to hear, etc., to help set us on the right path. We also have creative guides. So creative guides come with all sorts of talents that match our own creative signature frequencies. They're really here to help us with our skills, our talents, our passions, to turn any of your creativity into a living, anything like that. The more you work with your creativity, the more creative guides that will be assigned to you and will come down and will help work with you more and more and more to be more creative and to project that out into the world. And then we have karmic technicians. So karmic technicians, they basically set up situations for deep soul lessons. So we get like a lot of deep soul growth from these lessons, and they help us to resolve unfinished karma from the past and present lives. So people that we were born, like we incarnate with, relationships, friends, etc. So that's why they're called karmic technicians. They're really all about karma. That is their main job, to help us with our karma. And then we have gatekeepers. So gatekeepers opens up soul level memory files at appropriate times. They present paths that match our unique experience, which is accumulated from all of our lifetimes. We open the gates to really deep soul key codes that we need at very specific times, exactly when we're ready for it. These are really big things, and these don't really start to kick in and really activate until we reach a certain soul vibration and we're really doing the work and we're really highly activated, and then the gatekeepers will step in and they will activate these major memory files basically. And then we have bodyguards. So bodyguards work on all levels to protect us. You might have heard the saying, instances where someone was about to be hit, walk out into the road and be hit by a car, and they felt an invisible force literally pull them back. And these are our bodyguards. So our bodyguards are there to guard us throughout our life, unless it is in a specific soul lesson that we must experience, or an accident or an injury or etc. that we must experience. Otherwise, they are there to help us and to protect us and save us. And then the astral guides. So astral guides travel with us into the astral realms when we are sleeping at night. Right? So they're spiritual masters and teachers and special assignment guides. So they're like more higher level guides that really start activating once you're really, really stepping into your power and your purpose and your potential. And then these guides may choose to come down and work with you on something very, very specific that's within your blueprint and within your destiny. When we come in with around 1 to 5 guides. And we hire guides rapidly, usually into our adolescence, early adulthood, and then we usually stop hiring guides. But what's happening now is the frequency on the planet is rapidly expanding, and we seem to be hiring more and more guides at a more rapid rate. So we hire positive guides usually and most of the time, and have a lot of them. But sometimes what can happen is if we go through a really bad situation in our life, like a trauma or drug abuse or anything really traumatic that really lowers our soul vibration and puts us down into a really depressive lower state and vibration, at that time we may be able to hire a negative guide. So there is positive and negative guides. And then what happens is when we come out of this negative experience and this lower vibrational level and we step back up again and we come out of that situation and out of that frequency, we still have that negative guide with us, working for us. And it's not really in our signature frequency or match for that guide to be working with us. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is a shell of protection. So what happens is when you have a shell of protection and you come down and you go through the birthing process, you actually, none of your guides can find you. It makes it impossible for them to find you, and you also come through the birthing process without a way shower, which is really traumatic way to birth without any guides throughout your birth. So I had a shell of protection when I first got my clearing done, and I will have to say that all throughout my younger adulthood and adolescence, I always felt extremely lonely. I felt like I didn't really have any guidance, and I felt like it was really, really hard for me to tune into my intuition, even in my higher self, and any form of higher guidance at all. I just felt like I had nothing. Yeah, I really, really felt that. And now that I've had my shell of protection broken a couple of years ago, and I've had all my guides assigned back to me, so they've actually been able to find me and come in, I've been able to hire a whole team of guides. In my early adulthood, has been extremely transformational for me.